Okay, now that you've watched the video going over metals, nonmetals, and metalloids, let's do a quick review on the following terms. Metals, nonmetals, and metalloids again. Okay, so you have a quiz tomorrow, so be in mind of that as we move forward. Alright, first thing is write down the vocabulary words as you go. You can use these later when I ask you to text in a response. It's going to be text in, not multiple choice. Okay, so keep that in mind. Alright, so an atom is the smallest particle in which an element can be divided. Okay, and here we see a picture of an atom. Also, if you can't remember a term to one of these words, definitions, you can write that down as well. Alright, so a valence electron is the electrons that is in the outermost energy level. And here I have circled those valence electrons. So if I ask you how many valence electrons this atom had, you would tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Okay? Alright. So malleable means it's able to bend without breaking, and it is able to be hammered into thin sheets. Okay, you've seen this in the last video clip. Okay, and here's some picture examples. Okay, next we have ductile. Ductile means that it's able to be made or pulled into thin wire. Next we have groups. Groups is set up by the number of valence electrons and are represented by vertical up and down columns. Okay. Also, they can be called families. Okay, and all the lines here I've drawn is to emphasize that groups go up and down or in columns, if you want to say. Alright, next we're looking at periods. Periods are arranged by the number of energy levels an element's atom has. These are horizontal from left to right. Okay. Alright, you can see I've drawn it there. So if I number these periods, you can see hydrogen and helium here have 1 energy level. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon, they have in common, they all have 2 energy levels. The next have 3, the next have 4, okay? All the way through 7, which is how many periods we have on the periodic table. Okay, next here we see the atomic number, and the atomic number is the number of protons. This is how we usually identify an element, and do remember that atomic number is the number of protons, but also protons is equal to the number of electrons. Okay, at the bottom here we have the atomic mass. An atomic mass is the number of protons and the number of neutrons. So if anybody asked you then to find the number of neutrons, how would you do that? You would take the atomic mass minus your atomic number, because that's the number of protons you know you have, and that would give you the number of neutrons. Okay, for this next thing you need to be able to find the following by using the periodic table. And these are all things you need to be able to do for tomorrow's quiz. So if I give you this element, or I tell you to find beryllium on your periodic table, and you find it, you need to be able to tell me these things. This one has how many protons? 4. If we have 4 protons, then how many electrons should we have? We also have 4, because remember those numbers are equal. Okay, how many neutrons? Alright, we have to take the atomic mass, which was 9, minus the atomic number, which is 4. Okay, so we're subtracting the top from the bottom to find that this element has 5 neutrons. Now, if I was asked you to find how many valence electrons, we know it has 4 electrons total, so only 2 will go in the first shell, and then we have to put the remaining 2 in the second shell. So those remaining 2 that are found inside the outermost shell is your valence electrons. So this element has 2 valence electrons. Alright, now, it goes faster, sorry. If I say find what element is in group 3, period 3, group 14, you can see I went down 3 to my 3rd period, and I went over to group 14. Okay, and that gives me SI. which is silicon. Okay, now, here we go. Oh. All right, so now I've asked you to find an element that's in group 12. Okay, so I found group 12. You can see I highlighted it that. 6 periods, come down to 6 periods. All right, and it is Hg, which is mercury. Okay, so you need to be able to do that. Remember, if you have difficulty with one of these concepts, you can always pause and rewind a little bit so you can rehear it, okay? All right. So also, you need to know where metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are found on the periodic table and the characteristics of each of those three. All right, so what's found to the left? What do we have? We have metals, correct. All right, what's found to the right? We have nonmetals, correct. All right, and we have that zigzag line here. What is that? That is metalloids. Okay, moving on. All right, so what's shiny? Metals are shiny. What's a poor conductor? Nonmetals. What's a semiconductor? Metalloids. What do you think's brittle? Nonmetals. What's found to the left? Metals. Ugh. To the right, nonmetals. What's dull? Nonmetals. What's malleable and ductile? Metals. Okay. What's a good conductor? Metals. What borders a zigzag line? Metalloids. Okay, guys, this is a real quick review. As I said, you can go back and rewind anything you need to in just a moment. I'm going to have some multiple choice things. I would like for you, not multiple choice, you text in the answer. I would like for you to try to answer them without using a resource. But if you do need to use a resource, let's say your fun sheets, that's okay. But just make yourself a note that that's something that you need to study if you're not 100% sure you know, because you will see this on tomorrow's quiz. All right, guys. That's it for this review section. Good luck with your questions.